Good morning. This is my garden update for today. I think I am learning a really big lesson here, as you can see this. One thing the Lord started speaking to me today was you prepared as if you were going to have a hard year for this garden. And I did. As I wandered through this garden today and I saw how tight the walking space is between these rows, it is very hard to get through here without knocking off all the blooms. And I learned a very important lesson. So this year, I think the lesson I've learned is I'm going to have to do some either trellising where the two rows meet each other at the top and the cattle fences go upwards to the top, or I'm going to have to thin out the plants I plant on each row, because I did not prepare for God to bless this garden abundantly. And I thought I had prepared, but I did not prepare enough. So our green beans have just taken off. You can see the zucchini and squash are growing. I think there's probably close to 30 spaghetti squash now. I am harvesting a lot of cucumbers and zucchini, which is not what I did last year. And so sometimes when you come at this with the mindset of, well, this is what I did last time and this is how it worked last time, sometimes things change. Actually, all the time things change. And in gardening, that is so true. And what works one year may not work the second year. And what didn't work last year could work so good this year. And so I am learning that. And as I'm looking through these rows and realizing how abundant they are, I realize I need to plan and prepare as though the Lord is going to bless. The Lord is going to give us what we need every year. The Bible talks about God blessing Isaac during a famine. And I know a lot of people in my area have talked about not having enough rain and that everything is so dry, and that has not been the case for our property. It's like every 3 days we have had so much rain, and almost to the point where I've been praying, God, I'll pay for the water and the drip line, just stop the rain. Like, it's just so much. And what a great problem to have. You know, the Lord has abundantly used that rain to create this beautiful harvest that is taking me time and energy to pick. And thankfully, our system is still holding up as far as our weed paper and the way that we've done our garden this year. I literally probably pick 3 to 4 weeds every week. That's it. I mean, it is just not that much. I don't do any weeding hardly at all in this garden. So I am so grateful that we took the risk and that we stepped out and we bought this paper. You can see everything is just doing beautifully. Our potatoes are doing really good. I've harvested a couple of broccoli and cauliflower, and that has definitely been a journey, which I will keep working on and perfecting those two things. I'm not extremely great at growing broccoli and cauliflower, but I'm learning. Probably will try again in the fall when it's a little cooler, because that's when they do better. We just planted pumpkins and watermelon and cantaloupe. So we have 5 brand new rows right here. You can kind of see how they're all laid out. So those will have, these rows are about 20 feet in length, and so we'll have about 3 different hills where they will be planted and kind of intermingle with each other. And we're not planning on vining or trellising these pumpkins like we did last year, because we are going to plant jack-o'-lantern pumpkins, which will get to be about 15 to 25 pounds a piece. So that's a little bit large to hang on a fence without their stems breaking. So we're going to grow everything on the ground. The same with the watermelons. This year I'm going to grow regular size watermelons instead of the personal sized. We didn't have much luck with the personal size last year, but then again, we didn't have luck with almost everything last year. Pretty much everything we planted died. So it was just one of those kinds of years. And this year, I'm just trusting that God's shown us favor, and the rain has been plentiful and the drip lines are working. And so we are going to try to grow regular sized fruits and pumpkins. So I'll keep you posted on that. I think they'll be probably around end of September, early October, all of those things will be ready. It takes about 100 days. So we still have plenty of time to get these things grown and to actually start another area of growing for the things that grow within 30 to 50 days. So we're going to try to see what we can do to that strawberry bed on the other side of the garden. It's kind of hard to see it, but where all those hoops are over there, that will be ripped up, and we'll see if we can plant some of the short season crops. I think sometime either today or tomorrow we'll be planting turnips and radishes and some other little things. So that's kind of neat to, we'll get to grow some of those things. My husband loves turnips and radishes and has gotten all of our kids to like it. So just because your kids are picky, grow it. They might still eat it. My kids and my family love to just knock the dirt off and eat it straight out of the garden. So if you do it, your kids will follow. And just because they don't like it at a grocery store doesn't mean they won't like it if you grow it. So, oh, this is exciting. This just happened last night. We have another head of cauliflower to pick. So that's super exciting. I wanted to give you an update too on our celery and tomatoes and onions and how the companion planting is working for those three, because I know we started that at the beginning of the year just to see how it would work, and I have yet to see a tomato hornworm on these plants, which I am so excited about, because last year I found a couple and they grossed me out. So if you've ever had an experience with a tomato hornworm, I do not do crunchy bugs or big bugs at all, and these guys are big. So right now, here is our tomato plant, and you can just see we've got all kinds of tomatoes ready to grow. They're ready to ripen. And right here in the middle is our celery, and you can see it's already starting to really thicken up. This one especially is getting some really great stalks. And here's the onions right next to it. So these are not large bulb onions. These are going to be more like, I believe a couple of them are shallots. So they'll be more of like the straighter onions, and we've been using them for chives. Some of them will be bulbs, but not all of them. So far, I am seeing so much growth in this, and it seems like the celery and onions are doing great. We've harvested some of these and we chop them up for, put in hash browns or things like that. So it's really good. These are working out really good, and I think I will totally do this again. Out of some of the mistakes I've made this year, I think this one actually was not a mistake. This was a really good idea. And so if you are growing tomatoes, maybe think about buying a little pack of celery seeds and sprinkle them around, thin them out. I made the mistake last year of putting, because the celery seeds are so tiny. I mean, they're almost like carrot seeds in the size of them, but I sprinkled them in all my seed cups, because almost as soon as you take a little pinch with your finger, you actually get probably 5 or 10 of them. And so as they sprout up, you need to pull them out where you're thinning them down to just one plant per seed cup. These when I planted them last year, I had about, I think, 5 of them grouped together, and they never grew into that thick, meaty celery stalk that you're used to seeing in the grocery store. So you can kind of tell with this one just how thick these stalks are. Now I have pruned, because celery grows all these little bitty shoots out here. And so I have cut some of those off at the bottom of this plant, and that has really helped firm up these outer branches. So I really think that that's a good plan. So if you're gonna grow celery, take off those little bitty outer shoots and then just let those big stalks grow up. Here's another one that's almost ready. You can see it's a little bit thinner. The stalks are gonna have to grow probably a little bit longer. Celery takes about 100 days. So if you plant now, probably by end of September, early October, so you'll have some good celery. So it just depends. If they're not fully thickened up or growing enough, you leave them a little bit longer. But celery is definitely something we had good luck with last year, and definitely this year. We're going to keep growing them and see what happens. So I'm excited to give you these updates from our garden, and I hope you all had a wonderful 4th of July celebration with your families and your friends. And I will keep you posted on how this garden grows, and hopefully the next video I can show you some cool tools that I use in my kitchen to help prepare and preserve some of these foods that we're growing in our garden. So have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.